Question 19. ABCDE is a regular pentagon with centre O. So ABCD, these are the vertices, the corners of the shape. So A is here, B, C, D, E, and then O. So if I join these up, that would make a pentagon, a five-sided shape, and it says the centre of the shape is O. So a regular pentagon means that all the sides and all the angles are going to be the same. So these sides and all the angles on the inside, the interior angles, because they're on the inside, are going to be the same. Calculate the size of angle X. You must show all of your working. So this here is angle X. That's what we need to find. There are two different ways of doing this. I'm going to show you the first way using the exterior angles. So exterior angles are the angles on the outside of the shape. So if I extended each of these lines of the pentagon, sorry. Then you'll see I have the interior angle here on the inside, the blue one, but I also have the exterior angle here. Exterior angle here, 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 and here. So the blue angles are the interior angles on the inside of the shape. The red angles are the exterior angles on the outside of the shape. So the rule is all the exterior angles, all these red angles on the outside of the shape must add up to 360. And because it's a regular pentagon, they're all going to be exactly the same. So if there's 5 angles, because it's a 5-sided shape, and they're all the same, they've all got to add up to 360. So to find the exterior angle, we do 360 divided by the number of sides. So that's the first thing we're going to work out to find what this angle here is. So 360 degrees divided by the 5 sides of the pentagon. Again, you have a calculator, you can do that on there, but that's 72 degrees. So I know that that exterior angle there, keep the exterior in red, that's going to be 72 degrees. The other rule that we need to know about interior and exterior angles is that the interior, the blue angle, and the exterior are actually sitting on a straight line. So we know the rule, angles on a straight line add up to 180. So this blue angle and that red angle must add up to 180. The only problem is X is exactly half of that blue angle. We know it's half of the blue angle because this is in the centre. This line is going to the centre of the pentagon, so therefore it's going to end up cutting that vertice there directly in half. So to find out this missing gap, we need to do 180, because those angles are sitting on a straight line. Take away 72, take away what we do know, equals 108. So that means that this blue line, the interior angle of the pentagon, is going to be 108 degrees. But that's not our final answer yet. That's not what X equals, because as we said, X is directly exactly half of that angle. We know it's half because it cuts straight through the centre of the shape. So we need to do this 108 degrees divided by 2, which would be 54 degrees. So X is 54 degrees. So that would be your final answer using this method. If you were to use the other method, that's by looking at the interior angles of this shape. Now, interior angles are a little bit different. So they all add up. They don't add up to 360. depending on the shape, they add up to different amounts. So there's a formula we use to remember what they add up to. So the sum of the interior angles, so that's adding them all up together. We need to remember n take away 2 times 180. So that then gives you n is the number of sides. Then, so this shape has 5 sides. So in this case, the n would be 5. Take away 2, and then I'd have to times that by 180. So 5 take away 2 is 3 times 180. 3 times 180 is 540 degrees. So that means that all of these blue angles, when I add them up together, they'll make 540 degrees. So we learned that if it's a regular shape, and all the sides and angles are exactly the same, then I've got 540 degrees shared between these 5 blue angles. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is 540 degrees divided by the 5 angles, and that would leave me with 108 degrees. So we know that this whole blue angle here is 108 degrees. And as we said earlier, we know that the x is exactly half of that because this goes straight through the centre. So I then look at 108 divided by 2 equals 54 degrees. So there's the 2 different methods of working out this question. So the examiner will give you, if you did it this way, the examiner will give you 1 mark. If you did 360 divided by 5, 1 mark if you had 72 degrees, 1 mark if you had the calculations 180 take away 72, and then dividing that answer by 2. So these 2 steps here then would have given you 1 mark. And then your final mark would have come from the 54 degrees as your final answer. The other example, you would have had 1 mark if you had substituted correctly 5 take away 2 times 180. And the second mark would come from 540 degrees. Third mark would be same again, so 540 divided by 5 and then dividing that by 2. So those 2 steps there would have been 1 mark, and your final answer of 54 would have been 1 mark. 4 marks in total.